This is 41 Today on 41 NBC.
Today we have Jennifer Pippa from American Red Cross, Vice President of Disaster Programs, joining us. Jennifer, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you because we have a lot to talk about. 2024 this year has been quite a year for the American Red Cross. Tell me about that.
So it's been a very challenging year for us as a disaster relief organization. We've had tens of thousands of individuals present to us this year looking for help because they've been impacted from a disaster. And what we're seeing is an increased need of folks presenting to the American Red Cross for things like emergency lodging or food. And we're seeing that tempo increase over time. We've had 5 hurricanes this year that we've responded to, in addition to wildfires on the West Coast, flooding and wildfires in the central U.S., even wildfires in the Northeast now most recently. So we are seeing a really, really busy season. And unfortunately, the calendar year is not over yet. And we do see incidences of extreme weather, both in the end of November and through December as well. So as an organization, we have to make sure we're not just ready to respond to everything we've done thus far, but we are ready to respond for the next disaster, which is most likely right around the corner.
That's right. And so when you're dealing with disaster after disaster and you're meeting with these families, what are you hearing from the families? How are they reacting? What are the needs that they have? Can we talk about that? What are those impacts?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to talk with families even this year that have been impacted by disasters. And what I can tell you is their stories, they're heartbreaking. We have families a lot of times who this is not their first time in a Red Cross shelter, where they've sought refuge with us in previous years because they've been impacted by other disasters. So we're seeing families who come to us who may have started their recovery journey from a disaster that happened last year, and then they were impacted yet a second time. And we're seeing that happen all across the U.S., where communities are repetitively impacted by natural disasters because of their locations. And so these families are really struggling because they were just starting to get back on their feet after the first disaster, only to be knocked back to kind of square one and starting their entire journey over again because the house or the apartment that they found that they were planning on moving into has in fact been devastated by a second disaster.
Wow. And how are you coping with these challenges? You're having natural disaster after natural disaster. You're having people, like you said, they simply cannot even get on their feet because as soon as they start to stand up, they're knocked out again. So how are you coping with this? What are you guys doing?
So emergency management across the U.S. has acknowledged there are more disasters happening, they are more severe, and it is taking communities longer to recover. So gone are the days you hear emergency management talk about a hurricane season or a wildfire season. The American Red Cross is in a continuous state of response. We are supporting large-scale disaster relief operations every single day across the U.S. And so this is a team sport. We know that this kind of demand signal is only going to increase over time. So making sure that we have enough financial resources as well as volunteers that are willing to raise their hand, go out and deliver the Red Cross mission on behalf of our organization and take care of those communities who need us the absolute most.
All right. And so with Giving Tuesday right around the corner, how can folks be helping you? What do you guys need? Let's talk about those needs.
So I know folks see on the television all the time families who have lost everything, and the natural inclination is, how do I help? There's a couple of different ways that they can help. They can go to redcross.org and make a financial donation. No gift is too small for a family who's lost everything. You can roll up your sleeve and donate a pint of blood and potentially save a stranger's life. Or you could raise your hand, volunteer with the Red Cross, and deploy across the U.S. or in your local backyard and help your neighbor and your community should they become impacted by a disaster.
All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer. To find out more information, you can head on over to our website, 41NBC.com.